Do you like smut? Was Beauty and the Beast an awakening of sorts? Does the idea of a creature twice your size wanting to get into your pants do it for you? Then do I have the book for you. Hello and welcome back to Recap and Review. This time, we will be discussing the cultural phenomena that is Morning Glory Milking Farm. Our main character is Violet. She is a typical millennial. She can't find work in her chosen field, and she's drowning in student loans.
A small loan of $1 million.
If she doesn't get work soon, she's gonna have to move back in with her parents. Literally the story of every millennial I've ever known. So what does she do? She starts an OnlyFans. Just kidding. She gets herself a slightly unconventional job at the next town over. She be milking them minotaurs.
I see you're drinking 1%. Is that because you think you're fat?
Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, oh, pardon me, Fizzle Pharmaceuticals, sure, Fizzle Pharmaceuticals has made a shit ton of money with their newly founded medication for erectile dysfunction. The main component of this new medication is from one thing in particular. That one particular thing is what they collect over at Morning Glory Milking Farm. 3 guesses on what it is they're collecting. I'll give you a hint. They only collect from men. That's right. It's minotaurs. Please prepare yourself for a litany of bleeps because I cannot censor myself while talking about this. In this world, humans and supernatural creatures live side by side. The minotaurs are CEOs, the vampires own restaurants. We're all living together and we're so totally chill about it. Couldn't be America.
You don't like America, why don't you get out?
Violet is human, but she is working with all sorts of other creatures at this milking farm. Ogres and foxes and all sorts of other creatures. It's actually pretty cool, and in fact, she's the only human in her training group the first day on the job. Our broke millennial has found her way into a position at the milking farm in order to try and pay off some of those student loans. The things millennials have to do to survive in this economy.
Help me, I'm poor.
So Violet has found herself at one of these collection centers. This one in particular is called Morning Glory, and she is going to be doing the collecting. It's treated very clinically. Most of the people working there, mainly women, are wearing scrubs and gloves. I'm also pretty sure they're wearing masks as well. After the initial training, Violet does some shadowing her first couple days, learning the procedures, how to do the collecting, and of course, cleaning up afterwards.
Clean up in all the aisles.
During training, she does learn that there are several different kinds of people that come to the milking farm. Several different types of minotaurs that come to the milking farm. There are certain people who are there to get like in and out, do the deed, get paid, and bounce as fast as possible. Then there, of course, are the creepy dudes, the guys who probably can't get any in the real world, so they use this as a means to satisfy cravings. Ew! There are even different scrubs that the men can request, like jean overall looking ones and like milkmaid ones, which is just way too fetishy for me. So after training, it's time for Violet to do the deed herself. And just to make things very clear here, these minotaurs, they don't have udders. That's not where the collecting is happening from. I'm never gonna do that again. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. So Violet is collecting from her first client. It's a little bit awkward. She's kind of like asking these questions that she really doesn't get an answer to, but she pushes forward.
This isn't awkward at all.
She continues the collection and the cleanup and all of that sort of stuff. It goes perfectly fine. However, she's a little bit too into it, which is definitely not what you want in a professional setting. She remains professional throughout these horny feelings with her client, continues on with her day, but when she gets home, she takes care of herself, if you catch my drift. And it's that first client that she's thinking about, apparently the only one during the day that she had these feelings about, or that caused this reaction from her. A few weeks go by, she's doing her job like normal, but then one day, at the beginning of the day, she receives a request. One of the clients specifically requested her, which is apparently a thing that they can do, which again moves past professionalism for me, but we venture forward. That request came from that first person, the first Minotaur that she collected from. I was trying to think of something that... Anyway, unfortunately, this kind of throws her off her game. She makes a mistake with the first client, she's kind of delayed, and it sort of like domino effect fucks up her day. When she finally gets to the client who specifically requested her again, it's the client that she got all hot and bothered from. And the first time that she collected from him, he didn't say anything. However, when she walks into the room, he's like kind of chatty. It's a bit more than just casual conversation given the setting that they're currently in. He asks if she's still in school, kind of implying that he's concerned about how young she is.
I like how you're at least 18 years old.
Actually,
I like how you're at least 18 years old.
He also asks if she's treated well there. He cares a bit more than their clinical relationship allows. When they finally get started, she's kind of like all in her head about if he's going to enjoy it. Not if she's going to do her job well, but if the specific person is going to enjoy what she does. And then there is this line. He enjoyed the way she milked his dry. This phrase is used a lot in smut, and I just personally can't fucking stand it. Something about it feels icky. Anyway, the description of this collection is in such detail. Like how she's moving her hands, where she's applying pressure, how she enjoys the weight of him in her hand. Descriptive, hot, a little weird given their situation. Then after the collection is done, she thinks about what it would be like to be with him and then kind of like immediately berates herself for the fantasy and the unprofessionalism, which like, correct. As he's putting his pants back on, he asks Violet what her schedule is. Keep in mind, he doesn't know her name because there is a certain amount of privacy between clients and collectors. She doesn't give express details because she's genuinely not supposed to for fucking safety reasons. But she does tell him that this time slot is her last time slot for the day, kind of giving him like a sort of idea of her schedule. About 2 weeks goes by and he's back for more. Keep in mind, she doesn't know his name. They're chatting pretty hardcore at the beginning of the session, and they are flirting hard. They're talking about how he likes the personal touches of this facility and that her tiny hands are the perfect size. Absolutely out of bounds of what's appropriate for their relationship given their current situation. After the collection, he tells her about a coffee shop that's nearby because they were talking about coffee, and that he goes there pretty much every day on his lunch break, seemingly setting up an opportunity for them to meet in the real world. The next afternoon, she goes to said coffee shop on her lunch break. She doesn't see the Minotaur that she has the hots for, but she does meet a really fun vampire that she becomes friends with. So yeah, our girlie has a hardcore crush on this person whose name she doesn't even know. She is obsessing over every detail she can get her grubby little hands on. His age, his weight, his birthday is apparently also in his chart or whatever. And she obsesses over their astrological compatibility. Look, I like astrology as much as the next girlie, but there's a line that we must draw in the sand. Anywho, she is genuinely fantasizing about what it would be like to raise a family with this man. Again, whose name she doesn't know. She's got it bad. Literally the next scene in the book is her going back to the coffee shop like she's trying to run into him. So guess what happens? She runs into him. And she actually learns his name. It's Rourke, which is like kind of a sick name for a Minotaur, not gonna lie. Like, the writer got that one. They get that one good. The barista at the coffee shop seems to know him very well and asks if he and someone named Laurel are going to be at like a barbecue or like a neighborhood some fucking thing or another. Violet, being a typical romantic-y character, immediately assumes that Rourke is in a relationship with this woman named Laurel, and she ends their interaction bluntly, almost rudely. She has a real handle on her emotions. So when he comes into the milking farm later that afternoon, it's hella weird. Or well, Violet is hella weird. Like, super chipper, overly friendly, customer service cranked up to 10. After they sort of like dance around each other in this really awkward manner, Violet finds out that Laurel is Rourke's neighbor, not his girlfriend. He's single, and in fact has been divorced for a couple of years now. She's happy, and immediately goes back to inappropriately fantasizing about him while she's working. She thinks the following line: if there wasn't a camera, you'd suck out his soul. This author is really into I don't know if I could say that. Hold on. We're moving on. You know what? You get yours, girly pop. Later that day, I think, maybe later in the week, timeline incredibly unclear. Rourke comes back in. Unfortunately, Violet is training the new girls, so they can't be obviously inappropriate and flirty with each other. To me, they really still toe that line, talking about him getting this like marriage ring removed that he currently has in his nose. That we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about it. Moving forward.
You know what? Anyway,
he also says that he's been incredibly horny this week and he might have to come in twice. Specifically, he says, and I quote, "Getting a good draining might help take the edge off." This is supposed to be a professional setting. Just saying. After this, there is an abrupt time jump, like literal weeks go by. Violet takes several weeks off of work, partially to get over this infatuation and partially because her aunt died. What an interesting plot point for a smut book of this caliber. Her first day back at work, she sees Rourke, and she has a little bit of a breakdown after enjoying giving him a job way too much. She cries about her dead aunt, and then they go eat coffee together. Basically, her aunt dying is the precipice for her getting some Menotard. Go auntie, I guess? They have a coffee date, they do a little bit of like the getting to know you thing, which is really irrelevant to the overall storyline, truly. They admit to liking each other and plan a dinner date. We don't see their first date. In fact, we have another time jump yet again. And Violet and Rourke have been seeing each other for a while, but for their date tonight, Violet is getting a Brazilian, in case we weren't sure where this was going. There are some flashbacks to a couple of their other dates and them doing the like getting to know you stuff. He apparently started his own business, which he's now the CEO of. There's some like comments on feminism and her trying to like pay for half of their meal. He refuses. It's a little forced.
We are like feminist heroes right now.
They talk about the possibility of kids in their future, all the basic dating stuff. They also talk about Violet's career, her chosen profession, how it's not really profitable, she couldn't really find a job in that field, and that she tried to become a teacher and teaching really was not for her. He makes some suggestions about her career and the direction it should take. More on that soon. Okay. Back to that date where she got a Brazilian. They're at the dinner table, and he's very generous, if you catch my drift. Literally, he gets her off at the dinner table at the restaurant. Because I guess she wasn't wearing panties. Or maybe she took them off, I can't remember. At the restaurant, he does say this, which is pretty hot, I gotta admit, but prepare for like 15 bleeps. Eating this is going to be my new favorite meal. Anytime she wants to be stuffed with my fat bull, I'll be here to you so good you won't remember your own name. I'm gonna spoil you rotten, Violet. I'm going to spoil this in every way I can. Hot. All you need to do is tell me what you need. Look, men in smut books have said way worse things that we've allowed them to get away with. This was pretty fucking good, in my personal opinion. It worked for me.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Oh. Yeah. Whoa.
They go back to her place pretty fucking quick after that. Don't blame them. And they start getting busy. There's a lot of talking. Dirty talking, to be clear. And it's hot. It's mostly Rourke kind of like insisting that she tell him exactly what she wants, which, again, it worked for me. However, they don't go all the way because Rourke basically says, my huge will hurt you if we just jump into it. But he does go on her so hard that she basically passes out. Later that same week, Rourke shows up at the milking farm, seemingly as he does pretty much every week throughout their entire relationship up until this point. However, she doesn't end up collecting from him. Instead, he saves it all up for that night. Before they get it on that night, he takes the time to look her in the eye and say how much he really likes her and is glad that they took things slow, because seemingly it's been several weeks. Then he dives on in, and again, more bleeps, using to stretch her out, and she is begging for his this whole time, and he gives it to her. And as they are he is telling her about the story, the Minotaur in Greek mythology, and how his sacrifices that were given to him were sexual sacrifices, and that none of the women left because they got addicted to Minotaur. Then he inside of her and it's a huge mess, but they're both happy as fuck. Another time jump. Take a shot every time there's a time jump. Violet and Rourke have seemingly been dating for a little bit of time. She's very comfortable at his place buying like plants for his apartment. He also uses his neighbor to help her get a research job, but she is still working a couple shifts at the milking farm, just for a little extra dough. She gets her own place in the same like community that Rourke lives in because she still wants her independence. And seemingly they've only been dating for like a couple of months. Violet has a conversation with Rourke's elf neighbor, Laurel, from earlier, if you remember her, about interspecies relationships because Laurel, the elf, is dating an orc. I think her boyfriend has a name, I didn't bother to write it down. Their conversation can be wrapped up with the overall message of people are gonna think what they think so long as you're happy, that's all that matters. Pretty fucking true. The book ends with Violet taking a collection from Rourke at the milking farm as they discuss their future, babies and living together. And that's it. That's how the book ends. For a smut book, there's a decent amount of smuttiness going on. It is a bit of a slow burn, but the scenes are hot. Enough that for me personally, it was worth the wait. It's an easy read, a short book. It's not gonna change your life, but it might give you some inspiration for your own love life. I would recommend this as a casual read. I personally like a little bit more drama and pain in mine, but it is still a solid 7 out of 10. For those looking for something fun, fast, and flirty, this is the book for you. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what other smut books you'd like me to recap. In the meantime, go ahead and press some buttons down below if you're into that kind of thing. If not, I'll see you in the next one.